you're going to enjoy this video about tech in bedroom movies, because I'm a little techie too. So I'm really curious what they're going to talk about, what they consider good, what they consider bad, and if my opinions are different from theirs. So let's take a look-see, shall we? Every fucking time. Unmute. One of these days, chat, I'm gonna actually start a react and actually have it unmuted.
Hollywood has been using tech in movies since the computer was first invented, and they've been getting it wrong for just as long. And just like the Corridor Crew,
the rainbows?
when we see IT mistakes in movies...
Oh, they actually reference Corridor Crew. Nice. Shut up, Talos. That's cool. They reference Corridor. At least they're admitting they're doing like what Corridor Digital is doing, because they did kind of pioneer that.
Movies, it's pretty hard to overlook and focus on the rest of the story, which is why we were here at Computex and we invited Wendell from Level 1 Techs to help take a look and break down some scenes from TV shows and movies to see what they got wrong, but maybe also some stuff they got right.
I was wandering outside and they brought me in.
That is actually true.
And we also brought in this message from our sponsor.
Ugreen. Their Nexode X 160-watt charger is smaller than the original Nexode and comes equipped with 4 charging ports. Bring your 16-inch MacBook Pro from 0 to 50% in just 27 minutes with its 140-watt USB-C port. Check it out in the description below.
Okay, Dusty. We'll see you again.
Starting with the TV show Bones, in Season 7, Episode 6, their computer gets hacked because someone accidentally uploaded a virus by scanning a skeleton. Let's watch.
Oh, God.
Once we scan the bones, the computer can predict scenarios consistent with the damage?
Yeah.
Now that's realistic, especially these days.
Okay, now the computer should tell us what caused the internal injuries.
A gunshot?
Whoa. I'm not even into the computer stuff yet. And that is straight up not how that would work.
No, it's not. Hang on. Let me show you.
Now the computer should tell us what caused the internal injuries.
A gunshot?
Yeah, no. Yeah, hell no. Hi, Black Sage. Thank you for the follow. Guys, even without a degree in forensic science, you know this is not how this would work. Yeah, this is the problem that I'd mentioned before about the CSI effect. It was Walsh, it was okay. It was enjoyable. But obviously they're getting stuff with the science very wrong. Like they're saying a single gunshot wound would create a shotgun blast effect in the upper chest cavity of a human being.
Shot.
Whoa. I'm not even into the computer stuff yet. And that is straight up not how that would work. It's not even pointing at a bone.
Okay.
They fire under the rib cage. I'm sorry, was it a shotgun?
Whoa. What just happened?
I think I smell something.
System failure.
I smell something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the computer wouldn't catch on fire. Even if the cooling failed catastrophically, it wouldn't catch on.
Yeah.
Sometimes the wires will catch on fire, but that would be at the back.
Yeah, you can get little like spot burns.
Now there is a product that is specifically designed with a kill switch that is supposed to heat up the circuits and destroy them.
A lot of the flight data stuff in classified airplanes also have explosives, so you just pull the thing and it's like thermite and it just, and then it's gone.
What was it? What graphics cards were? What were the graphics cards that were melting the PSU? The graphic. Which graphic cards came out? Was it the 4090s that when you hooked them up, like the PSU wires like melted? Yeah, it was the 4090. That's what I thought. Yeah, it was just the 4090s just flat out melt the cables. Granted, you're not catching fire, but oh, it's improper connection too. Jeez. Yeah, Tenju. I mean, we'll put the quote unquote forensics analysis away on that one because the forensics analysis on that they just made was bullshit on an extreme scale. You cannot make a guesstimate of a weapon based on bones like that. It doesn't work like that, and especially you can't make it, and you know the guess is wrong is when you have a revolver showing a shotgun pattern. Well, what I wouldn't say that they go into the fantasy side unintentionally. I think they go to the fantasy side intentionally to make it dramatic. Okay. So the 4090, it wasn't an issue with faulty cabling, is they were not installed correctly. Okay. Then, okay. Alright. Gotcha. I gotcha.
It would have to be designed for that. Also, that first flame was about as convincing as when we did our April Fool's video where I said our server room was on fire.
So it turned out the malware killed our fans. They're supposed to turn on when the CPU reaches 75 degrees, but the malware added a 0 and made it 750.
How did this malware get past our fire?
Okay. So what? The CPU would... Yeah, no kidding, Albert. Even this explanation that the malware put an extra 0 onto the temperature the fan temperature control, the CPU would shut down once it hit about 95 or 100. The whole system would just shut down. It wouldn't burst into flames. Anybody that's had a computer running hot knows that when the CPU gets too hot, the whole computer just shuts down. The computer just, stops. It shuts down. It doesn't burst into flames. So again, now, the question of whether or not there could be maybe binary code or something, inscribed into the bones that could cause malware, it seems rather fanciful. Yes, Biberoni, I do believe it is. It seems fanciful, but it depends on the software. I think Linus may say it meant to. I'm really speculating because software programming is not my thing, so I'm guessing. If it's a program that when he took the scan, if he was scanning strictly for graphicing and not for actual data input, but it was doing graphical intake for the purposes of creating basically digital modeling, it shouldn't have installed malware. If it was a system that was designed to scan for data input, maybe if it went binary, but that's still a hell of a stretch. It happens at just right spot. That happened a few times, and one of them a speedrunner. Oh, cool.
Doesn't go past 255. Sorry.
Okay, for everyone who gets that, that's hilarious.
It doesn't catch fire immediately.
What?
It would slow down or turn off.
Yeah.
It's also weird because you wouldn't, unless the program is badly written and your adversary knows exactly the software that you're using and the version, you could do this with like a buffer over.
Well, baby Jeebus, what I'm thinking of is like if they did like micro abrasions on the bones. Like if you do micro abrasions on the bones, you could theoretically, get you could potentially do it, but again, we are talking huge fantasy here. What's that, Tensu? Yeah, I mean, but I mean that's the whole thing. This is it's a sci-fi-ish show, so they delve into the unbelievable. So sometimes you gotta roll with it. Yeah, I'm sure it's the same with like the CSI shows for people in actual law enforcement that do evidence collection or processing. To watch CSI, they gotta be going, what the fuck are you doing? Because it's not done like that.
Overflow. So like the data is parsed as commands instead of data. But most of the time when you're scanning something, it's just going to be data.
I feel like by giving it that thorough of a debunking, you're almost respecting it too much. Even if what he said wasn't true, there isn't a processor on Earth that would manage to heat up that fast, even if you turned the fans off.
It originated in my computer.
Wait, but it wouldn't have gotten in there unless you had downloaded something.
Yeah, or uploaded.
All you uploaded were the scans of those bones.
Are you telling me that there's a computer virus in the bones?
The computer virus is in the bones.
Imagine you had like a CT scan and you have a malformed CT scan file and you give it to your hospital and they parse that and then it turns into a virus. That's kind of...
Say the pants kick on at 70 degrees in an American TV series. You sound like we use Fahrenheit here when talking to people who don't know computers. Yeah, but Tensu, like they do use Fahrenheit. Like on my older MacBook, I had to have a separate fan control because the onboard fan control wasn't keeping it cool, and that fan control was displaying the temperature in Fahrenheit, not Celsius. So, if you're saying what I think you're saying, it's not uncommon for it's not at all uncommon for American CPU tends to be registered in Fahrenheit. So, if that's what you're saying, if I'm not misunderstanding what you're saying.
Kind of what happens with PDFs or anything in your emails. Like you get a malformed PDF, you're not running a PDF thing and it takes over your computer. Looking at a PDF should be a perfectly safe operation, but it takes over and does stuff. So that part is the least unrealistic part, and it's really a stretch. And no two scans are likely to be exactly identical because that's largely an analog process.
Again, I think you're respecting it far too much. Also, what was the point of that? Just to light their computer on fire? A Molotov cocktail would get you there a lot faster and a lot cheaper.
Anything promising?
Sure, but
It's
thank
hard
you
to
for the
say.
follow.
All the documents we photographed are in Chinese.
We've got his hard drives, scans of everything in.
Now hold
what
on
the-
just a
What the actual fuck was that? Tensu, yeah, but I think it is possible, given that they're running a database like that in Bones. I think maybe the fans were designed to kick in at 70 because maybe based on their usage, if it hits 70, it's already climbing a little bit too fast and they gotta keep it cool. That could be what they were saying, but I don't know. And yeah, let's back that up in case they don't.
We've got his hard drives, scans of everything in.
Shit.
It's hard to say. All the documents we photographed are in Chinese.
We've got his hard drives.
That's not a hard drive. This is not a hard drive. That looks like it's a PSU. Yeah. That's a PSU. What the fuck? Oh my god.
Scans of everything in.
Now hold on just a moment here.
This is disappointing because, like,
Yeah, Ace. This one's for you.
Bruh.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
Some of the stuff is like there's artistic creative license, you know, maybe they scan the bones.
That could have been a bomb.
This is just, they didn't Google it.
Does that even have chain of custody?
You know what? He's making a laugh, but he's not wrong either. You see this so often in these cop shows. They just show up with a bag with a bunch of shit and go, yeah, we got this off the bad guy. It's like, why are those not in evidence bags? Every single piece of evidence you take off of a bad guy, or every single piece of evidence you collect at a crime scene gets bagged and it gets tagged along with an evidence, along with the chain of custody of evidence sheet. But he is 100% right. He is 100% right. That PSU that he's calling a hard drive should be in an evidence bag, along with everything else that was in that backpack, and that backpack should be in its own paper evidence bag. And no, Albert, not even very old hard drives look like that.
Again, respecting it far too much. Now, just a minute. We've got his hard drive.
Yeah, and he's, 6, he's holding the fucking thing with his bare hands. And this is evidence. Hey. He's holding the bag, and oh my god. Yep. Yeah, he's FBI. His crime lab boys are going, dude? What the fuck? That's what the crime lab boys are saying right now.
Drives. For one thing, that is one hard drive. For another thing, really? You couldn't afford any more than a doorstop power supply from the P3 era? Is that a 20-pin connector?
Yep. Yeah, that's like a 300-watt power supply.
You will have plenty of stuff to go through in the morning.
He has so many questions.
He's like, that's not a hard drive.
I haven't talked about this much, but Luke and I actually did a little bit of unpaid consulting on a high-tech script for some medium. Don't worry about the details because I'm pretty sure I'm under NDA. But speaking from that experience, if I had to guess how these things happen, I would say it's not.
Bontella is probably why the prop department gave them the PSU and just said, stupid actors, here, take this PSU, you won't know it's any different.
Not because nobody knew better. It's not because a tech expert wasn't hired to come in and tell them something different, but because they actually made a conscious decision to not care.
Or they did it too late. Like there was some changes that we had suggested that were like, well, we can't do it now.
I think they could have sourced an e-waste hard drive instead of an e-waste power supply.
System breach.
Here we go.
Firewall 1.
We got a problem.
This is from Castle.
Someone synced a rat to one of my servers. A remote access tool. We're being hacked.
First of all, it's remote access Trojan.
Yeah, potentially. I remember that viral video of his. I remember it. Yeah.
Like, is it the more firewalls I have, the more safe I am?
No. It's like Swiss cheese defense, right? All the firewalls have minor vulnerabilities,
Yeah.
and you just have a variety of them the whole way through.
Yeah, that's the Battlestar Galactica model.
I love the percentage to breach.
Yeah, I know, 6. I think the only show that managed to get close to what actual hacking is like is Mr. Robot, and even then, there was embellishment. Like, actual hacking takes, like, months or even years of prep work to put into to get into place before you do the actual hack. It is nothing like what you see on TV and in movies. And oh yeah, Tysell, I am too, because they actually did some stuff. Well, but Tysell, while Hackers was obviously stylized, obviously it's like they took a lot of liberties. But they did do some things that were legit, like when they went dumpster diving for passwords. When you had I forget what the character name was, but he had the photographic memory. When he pretended he was a flower delivery and was walking through the offices and looking at all the people typing in their passwords, like they actually did their homework in hack. They actually did some homework in Hackers that was legit, which was pretty fucking cool. Yeah. Oh yeah, McAfee sucks. McAfee absolutely sucks. And Albert, yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, Hackers, like, there was a lot of stylized bullshit, but they actually had some real shit in there. They did. So and Mr. Robot, I think, is probably one of the few shows that is probably the best at depicting hacking accurately to a degree. Like I said, it's a TV show. There are liberties that can be taken, but from what I've heard, Mr. Robot probably does the best. Oh, Swordfish was way over the top. And you know what? I will freely admit, I myself have grotesquely oversimplified hacking. I've got, I do quote unquote hacking in one of my books, and I absolutely positively Hollywoodized the shit out of it. I did. Just because it's entertaining. So I know why it's done, and I understand why it's done. So
Reach thing. I love that they have this tool where they're like, we know we suck. Let's make sure that we can measure exactly how screwed we are.
Yeah, what's the morale of the team that develops that?
Breached in red.
I mean, if you could figure this out, it would be great, because as soon as Firewall 1 hits breached, you just message the backup battery and be like, hey, you need to turn off right now, and it turns off.
Yeah.
No, that would be too sensible. And look.
And he's right. If you have a multi-firewall system where each firewall goes down by percentage points, the minute you see firewall 1 go down, it's like, oh, turn off. Just turn the fucking thing off. Problem solved. That hard? I think that was done. I've seen that done one time in a quote unquote hacking incident. In 6. Windows Defender is just fine. Windows Defender is a perfectly legitimate, fine antivirus. The only thing I'd say to pair it with might be Malwarebytes, because Windows Defender is not good at detecting malware. But I've seen one episode on one show where they actually responded to hacking in the right way, and that was on NCIS, where Abby's working on her computer. She's got a virus. They do some really stupid shit where she's like, I've got a virus. And then McGee jumps in, and the two of them on the same fucking keyboard are typing away. I'm watching this going, what the fuck are you guys doing? Because it's two people typing on the same computer, and they're supposedly fighting against a hacker. Makes no goddamn sense. And they're losing. All of a sudden, everything goes down, and Gibbs stands up holding the plug for the computer. Like, that was the most legitimate thing I've ever seen in any quote-unquote hack.
I know that this is probably going to be the most pedantic nitpick of all, but that's not how you spell synced.
Let's start an intrusion inspection and find out who our rat is.
Whoa.
Now we're the hackers.
Hieroglyphs?
Uh-oh.
Oh.
They're on.
Hold on. You don't decrypt a firewall.
No. Firewall number 4.
He stopped respecting them too much.
Tycel? I don't think people can use God anymore. It's too short of a password. Nowadays, the minimum is like 8 characters. At least 8 characters, often needing at least one number and one symbol. So I don't think they can use that anymore. Even on like Windows passwords. And 6 was the only good character in NCIS. He's been gone for a while now.
His brain's broken.
Yeah, it's not. This is terrible.
View options, yes, no.
It's coming from inside the city, trying to narrow it down.
Okay.
What even is this?
It's supposed to be narrowing down, which is funny
it's supposed
because
to be
how this circle
triangulation.
works, they already know theoretically that it's in the middle.
I can ping a friend that's 3 states away, has a lower ping than my neighbor across the street. So this is like, oh, let's figure out how far away it is.
True, Tysel,
It doesn't
true.
always work like this.
Yeah, type faster.
Oh my god, this.
Man. Maya? I don't disagree. Like, actually, I will say Ducky and Gins. The two of them were the best thing about NCIS, and especially when the two of them interacted. The chemistry between the two of them was fantastic. They were the best parts of that show. They were.
Scene is like 3 minutes long.
Start Counter-Strike!
Wait, did he misspell that? Hang on.
Type faster.
Hang on.
Oh my god, this scene is like 3.
Okay, no, it's like the tops of these letters are getting cut off for some reason. Yeah, God help me, I forget the actor's name, but the man who played Ducky unfortunately passed away. He died unfortunately, and yes, he did. They actually just did a special episode to honor him fairly recently, and Mark Herman left, I think, a year ago. I think he left the show.
Start Counter-Strike!
That barely slowed him down. I'm sorry, but he's going to find us in less than a minute. Should we abort?
No, we've only got 2 of the blinky boxes left to go.
I like that. That's good.
Honestly, proper reaction for someone who doesn't know what the fuck a computer's doing. We only got 2 of the Plinky boxes. Why not?
Come on. Got it.
Exact address.
That's Castle's office.
He must be working with Haley. She's got the skill set for this, and she is about to breach our firewall. If she does, they'll have instant access to our entire
Turn
investigation.
it off.
No, they won't. Okay, tell me this. You have breached the URL of apple.com. Do you have instant access to all of the data that's on it?
No, although Dell,
If all of it's public.
Dell's public suffering lately with that, though. They did exfiltrate a lot of data to do with the customer orders and names and.
But it would take time.
Yes.
And if Dell was literally sitting there.
Okay, Linus is nitpicking this. I think the point they're making is if the hacker was able to breach what I'm guessing was the department's security and get into the system, they could hoover up a lot of the data and take off with it, and then at a later time they could take their time and sift through the data for what they're looking for. So Linus is nitpicking this a little bit. He is. A breach of any system is bad because they could grab God knows what and then do something with it later. So
Preventatively anti-hacking.
Yeah.
No, in fact, they would not have access to everything.
I could launch a cyber nuke, but it'll completely fry his system.
A cyber nuke, yeah.
a cyber.
What is this?
And they have a graphic. Chat, did you know there was such a thing as a cyber nuke? Did you know this? Oh my. This should be good.
This interface. Why do they have this interface? But
Yes,
they don't have the
Cthulhu.
ability to shut off the power.
Oh!
What just happened?
We got cyber news.
Armageddon, I'm afraid.
It doesn't work that way.
You don't just have like digital ICBMs?
I mean, I assume that what's supposed to happen there is like you can trick the person attacking you into running some executable code and it wipes something, but it doesn't work that way.
Someone.
He remotely deleted System 64. System 32.
Hacked a curtain ad on the Scroll MD site. Looks like a normal ad, right? And this is the code for the ad.
CSI
But
Cyber,
peekaboo.
oh god.
There's actually 2 codes written right on top of each other.
Okay, we were doing really good.
Surprisingly good.
For a bit there.
I was convinced this was quite solid.
That was actually really cool, like, and pretty realistic. Injecting a malicious redirect into some kind of seemingly real advertisement.
Yeah, that's how scammers get you. That's exactly how scammers get you on these fake websites. You think, that you've gone to an actual website, it looks legit, and when you click on something, it redirects you to the scam and gets you connected with the scammer who tries to fuck you out of money. Yeah, basically it's like phishing. Which, speaking of, for anybody that doesn't already know this, if you Google something, if you do Google search for something, never pick any of the first choice ads that come up on a Google search, because chances are they've been bought by scammers and put there. Scammers will buy ad space with their fake websites. Google doesn't check them. So if you say you Google Walmart, six, not necessarily a top 5, but it's basically the ads. Because ads you can actually force to the top of search results because they're actual ad space. So if you did the search for Walmart, actually here, I will demonstrate. Give me something to Google. Give me something to Google that I may not have Googled before. Roll that. Okay. Pull that. That's good. All right. Now, I've got ad blocking shit up, so that probably doesn't show up. But so normally you might see ads up here, like up at the top here in your search results. You might see ads. Those ads, Bandicam. All right, let's try Bandicam. Yeah, shit, didn't mean to do that. Yeah. So if you see like ads up here, because like I said, I've got my ad block up. So if you see like ads up here, those ads are more likely paid for by scammers. So that's, more than likely if you see any ads on a Google search, it's very likely paid for by scammers and will take you to a scam site. Also, you should also be careful about, and you see this mostly with the elderly who don't know how to use even Google, is when they try to go to a website, they'll just type in the name of the site, but they won't actually do .com. And it'll take them to the scam site and they'll go to the scam. So that's something, if you're not already familiar, many of you I'm sure already are, but if you're not familiar, don't click on those ads at the top of the Google search because 99% of the time they're going to be scams. Yes, consider it a public warning announcement because God knows I dealt with so many people bringing me computers that ended up connecting to scammers. It was sad. And another one, just as an aside, if you receive an email that says, this is your bank, this is Amazon, whatever, you need to click here, look at the email address. Look at the actual email address in the sender. 9 times out of 10, it's going to have like a Gmail address or some bullshit email address. It's not real. No company on the planet will email you and say, hey, you need to click on this link because bad things are happening with your account. No company will ever do that specifically because that's how scanners operate. Yep. Exactly. Yeah, ignore them or put them into junk and block the sender. Yeah.
Actually, a pharmacy where you'd collect a lot of personal information and valuable personal information about people.
Maybe that guy was just thinking his coworkers are morons and is using that to explain it. And it's like, okay, this code actually injects this other code. It's not like code on top of another code.
I'm convinced that dude wants to claim that he has like 2 weeks to a month of work to do, and he's going to do it in like 4 hours.
Now that sounds realistic.
The target had to breach the ScrollMD servers to inject this code.
Not true, actually. You could just exploit kind of ad delivery network.
This happens all the time.
Yeah.
He's operating almost entirely on the surface web, where he can reach millions of everyday citizens.
On the surface web?
What the f is the surface web?
Well, as opposed to like the dark web.
Yeah, I get it.
Better script dialogue for that would have been, it's like you're utilizing like public ad networks and they're flying.
Yeah, I was just about to say, just call it the public internet versus the dark web. You don't have to call it it's CSI Cyber, so of course they're trying to buzzword the fuck out of it.
under the radar of public ad networks.
Yeah.
You should do this.
Are you auditioning for your next career move? Consulting for Hollywood? They won't listen to you.
No.
218 gone.
Okay.
Stylized.
No. What?
I mean, if it's a pharmacy website, there's probably tens of, I mean, just bot traffic is going to be tens of thousands of IPs. But look at the IPs, 164.387. It'll never be more than 255 on any number.
Whoopsie doodles.
No, that might be on purpose, just because like you could accidentally have an IP address in there, and it's like, oh look,
Yeah.
it's big.
I was just gonna say he beat me to the punch. It's that kind of makes a little bit of sense because you don't want to accidentally throw someone's real IP address up on the screen. But the way that they laid it out, yeah, that's hacking shit right there. It was a fun one. I forgot company, but it was Google put at the top of the ads for a virus scanner, and it was actually Trojan. Yeah, that's happened a few times, Tetsu. Well, yeah. I mean, obviously it's the 555 covers the TV movies, and then with the IP addresses, they'll put something above 255 because they don't want to accidentally put in, just like in with phone numbers movies, they want to put someone's actual IP address into something because someone watching it could very well go, you know, I'm gonna chest up that IP, just fuck with whoever's on the other end. It's entirely possible.
All of these breaking that rule,
Yeah,
I
but
think
that's
you
a whole
might
thing.
be right.
Like, there's reserved IP ranges for kind of like 555, 5555. There's fake IPs. So they could just use those if they actually knew.
But they need like a whole ocean of them, and these all look like they broke that rule.
Yeah, none of these can be real IP addresses.
I don't think any of them are.
Maybe it was on purpose then. Let's give them that one. And their whole narrowing exercise doesn't work at all because the guy working in the mailroom and the executive would actually have the same public-facing IP.
Likely, yeah.
God, you're kidding me. Target's using an IR LED array. Makes his license plate unreadable to the cameras. All four tires give up Bluetooth signals.
Okay. Yes. That's actually kind of cool.
And like that and
Something right.
the whole, none of those IPs would be working. Stuff like there's you know, there's traces in here.
All four tires give up Bluetooth signals for port when they're low on pressure.
What are you thinking?
I don't know if they're Bluetooth.
Bluetooth.
No, they
No, they're not Bluetooth. They're directly hardwired into the car's computer. It's not Bluetooth. Now, the car itself, the car's computer, if it has some kind of an uplink to receive updates, similar like Tesla, that's a different story.
Really don't. Yeah, that would be done over low frequency signal. Yeah, that's not even a little bit Bluetooth.
There is something really wild that's happening with self-driving cars, and that is the standard for aircraft, like the aircraft-to-aircraft communication, has been co-opted and modified slightly for car-to-car communication. So a lot of smart cars are emitting tons of radio and can be uniquely identified. If you drive a Tesla, your Tesla can be fingerprinted and tracked without a license plate.
Now, Wendell, this is something I legitimately don't know. Would a Bluetooth device have a MAC address?
Yes.
Okay. I've never looked up the MAC address of my Bluetooth device.
Well, Apple actually has been worried about this for a long time, and so they've been doing MAC randomization, and Android got that feature later. So when you connect to a public Wi-Fi, actually, I used to work on a project for a very large commercial entity where we were doing Bluetooth beacon tracking, and you could track somebody moving through a commercial store like Marshall's or something like that. And it's like, oh, the same people are coming back. We don't know who they are, but they're probably somebody that bought something.
Oh yeah, that's kind of like what they do on the cruises, where they can bring your drink right to you.
See that little white box right there? It's the Department of Transportation Traffic Monitoring System. Picks up Bluetooth signals to report traffic patterns.
Sadly, this has become reality.
It's not Bluetooth.
No.
But if you're trying to communicate this to people that are going to watch this show, it's not that bad.
Why don't you just say wireless?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No way. I'm getting.
Okay. Yes. This is the exact scene I was talking about earlier. I can't believe they're putting it in here. Okay. Chat, if you haven't seen this scene, get ready to laugh your ass off, because this is the exact scene I was talking about.
This is classic.
No, this is
Okay, like, there's just so much that's...
already burned through the NCIS
Oh my
firewall.
goodness.
Ow, my frontal lobe.
I have never actually seen this.
This
keep
is
showing
a super
it, you jackass.
If someone is stealing your documents...
They better show the rest of this scene or I'm going to be pissed. if they don't show the rest of the scene, I will be pissed.
The documents that are being stolen are not opening on your screen. Like it doesn't. You're not going to get a million. It would be impossible to do any work on this computer because of all the pop-ups. Remember the '90s? Like you get all the pop-ups and bad things happening on your computer because of the malware. It's like, oh, what is this?
Take the node and dump them on the other side of the room.
Okay, here we go.
I'm trying. It's moving too fast.
Have you seen this before?
Here we go.
Oh my god.
This is so like okay, 2 people, 1 keyboard does not.
They're both typing on the keyboard at the exact same time. What in the fuck are they doing? What? Yes, it is.
Not work in any. There's
If they
just
show
no
it.
universe where 2 people, 1 keyboard works.
Yeah. Here we go.
Way to go, Abby.
I didn't do anything. I thought you did.
No.
Hence why you don't have 2 people on 1 keyboard.
He unplugged it.
Well, that's
the
reasonable.
first person with a brain. Woo! We did it.
Literally the most reasonable thing in that entire scene.
With all the submissions you guys gave us from crime shows like CSI.
Yes, Tysel, Gibbs is a god.
And NCIS, we could probably make an entire second episode just from that. So hit the like button if you guys want to see a second one of these. I mean, according to IMDb, NCIS has a budget of only $2.5 million per episode. So that would explain why they just didn't have the budget to accurately represent.
I don't know if it
hacking
was
and
rule 3 or
technology
not,
on the show.
Tensu.
Let's pick.
Yeah, Tysel, when I first saw it too, it was like, oh, that's painful. Yeah. Oh, he did. 6. He did. Mark Harmon carried that whole franchise, and yeah.
Pivot though and take a look at a movie that had a budget of a mere $200 million. Surely they did a much better job. Oh good, it's Fast and Furious 7.
Oh fuck me.
Created something interesting. Bring it up. Yes, sir. Say hello to God's eye. Now this little bastard hacks into anything that's on the digital network. That means every cell.
This is certainly the intelligence services want this. If we look at it, it's like
and they try to make components of this.
The headlines for the Pegasus malware and the dual elliptic curve incursions by the intelligence services, and this is scary, close to reality, possibly, maybe.
I say thank God it can only access anything on the digital network, as opposed to the analog networks that were still rolling.
Yeah, Tenzu, and what's really funny is not only did he carry the franchise, he was the producer for that franchise for the majority of it too.
One thing that I may argue is that I don't know that the Fast and Furious universe is actually the same as our own.
Really?
I think at this point, I think it's arguable that it is not actually the same universe.
It's not wrong.
Dr. Chen, recalculate the new thruster data and relay it to Blue Oyster Cult immediately in Stancia.
Okay, roger that, Doctor.
Fuck!
What's wrong? Seriously, auto-updating now? General, I won't be able to calculate the right data for the...
Are you talking about this one, Walsh? Space Force? This was... I think I only saw season 1 of this one. I didn't think they came out to season 2. I thought it got canceled. I may have to look that up.
Satellite for 49 minutes. How long till impact?
11 minutes and 44 seconds.
Probably do it on a different computer.
Microsoft!
It do be like that sometimes.
Okay, this is actually pretty funny.
But you could probably use a different machine on the network.
I'm enjoying this one enough, though, that I don't feel like I need to pick it apart. It didn't pull me completely out of the scene.
And the whole point of the scene was it was done for the lulz. I mean, it was done for the lulz. Yeah, I know.
Elijah actually has some inaccuracies in there that we were supposed to notice. Their group policy almost certainly would have prevented an update from happening at such an inopportune time.
Although Microsoft has started ignoring group policy.
And they can for certain things.
Yeah. Group policy is not as ironclad as it used to be.
If they're like,
Microsoft!
If they're like, this is important enough of an update, they'll just...
Our last clip, also from the Fast and Furious universe.
Oh, God.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I'm calling it. This is going to be the one where Cypher hacks all the cars. I'm thinking they're going to do Cypher hacking all the cars.
Мы прилетаем обратно в Москву в 9.
Wait, he's in a giant motorcade in a city and they weren't sure?
Вчерашнего брифинга.
Okay, they found him.
Upload those coordinates to Dom's nav.
Copy that.
So, like, if that was a dude that was under surveillance already, and they had malware on his phone, like the Pegasus malware, they absolutely could do that.
Yeah.
Turn the microphone on surreptitiously, like the whole nine.
Also, am I going to be the one to point out that they have planes?
Yeah, that are just in the air all the time.
And yet they choose to pursue on the ground?
In the Fast and the Furious universe, cars are the best thing that exist at all, other than family.
Well, wait, if they've got a New York police escort, just radio the New York police and be like, stop.
This is what I've been saying. They had to try to track this person down, but they have a giant motorcade in the middle of a huge city.
Wait, why do we need to read his license plate?
This is what I'm saying. Yeah. They definitely know this is happening.
Do these guys work for the Department of Redundancy Department? If you have this level of control, can't you just turn a stoplight red?
Yeah.
Want every chip with a 0-day exploit in a 2-mile radius.
Any idiot with a flipper zero can turn.
Whoa.
Every chip with a 0-day exploit in a certain mile radius.
I thought, why do they need a chip with a 0-day exploit? They've got God's eye.
They should have every. Probably got to use the orange text on the video.
Hack 'em all.
That's like in the Batman movie that made Alfred upset.
Yeah.
What does hacking...
They're going to start driving the cars to crash the motorcade.
Oh my God.
Excellent. This will also be a thing.
Yeah.
But why would they want it to do that? Why would they want the windshield wipers to go?
Now, there's a lot of intelligence services that would be really happy for this level of functionality because it's like, oh, look, this problematic person died in a horrible car accident. Whoops.
Okay.
Where did those coins come from?
Whoa.
Did the coins just come out of the ground?
What the happened to that parking meter?
I think those were added in post.
What? Yeah, really? Also, notice how much rust there is on the ones that are real. Shoot their engines?
Holy shit, this guy's got a collapsible minigun? Where the fuck was he storing that?
Shoot their engines?
Where the fuck was he storing that? That thing had to wrap out from underneath that roof. So while this thing was in storage, it was pointing at the passenger. Yeah. Casually folds out minigun. What the fuck? Oh my God.
There's people in those cars.
Whoa.
Did you see the spread?
What are these bullets hitting?
That's epic, dude.
Wait. Let me see that bullet spread he's talking about.
Engines?
Okay. They're complaining about that spread, but guess what? We saw Todd shooting a minigun like this, and it was that kind of spread. That makes sense. But Linus and the crew are not gun people, so they won't know. But we saw Todd shoot an actual minigun, and we saw what kind of spread it was getting, and that tracks. So, Linus, I know you're not watching. That bullet spread tracks fine. The minigun holding out the fucking sunroof, that's a whole different story. But, Baby Genius, when he was shooting it wasn't a line spread. It kind of was... It was a spread, especially because you consider they're in a moving car, so not only is the car moving, but the gun is moving. So, yeah, it would make sense that you see that kind of a spread, especially if they're going at high speeds, because you're already getting a spread at stationary, and you add a moving vehicle to the mix. Yeah, that spread actually makes perfect sense. It does.
There's people in those cars.
Whoa.
Did you see the spread?
What are these bullets hitting?
That's epic, dude. Oh, interesting.
Now,
when
with
you
it
shoot
burst
the
into
engine,
flames,
it
I don't know
naturally
about that.
diverts away.
Massive thanks to Wendell for joining us to critique some scenes from TV shows and movies. If you guys have any suggestions for ones we should check out in the...
Well, if you saw it, he might have been sweeping it too. So he might have been sweeping. Hang on.
For real?
Let's see.
Shoot their engines?
There's people.
I think he was sweeping it. I thought I saw the muzzle flash going from here. Let me. I thought I saw the muzzle flash shifting from here to this way. He might have been sweeping it, and that would account for it. Especially, it's already gonna be. Well, you don't see his shoulders move, but with a mount like this, he could have moved his hands. I thought, let's look. Hang on. I know this isn't a goddamn gun video, but damn it, we're treating it like one. Alright, let's look. Hang on. Slow speed. Alright, watch the muzzle. Watch the muzzle. You could see the muzzle. You could see the muzzle starting to track left. So I think he was starting to sweep with it. The muzzle flash started here, clearly over shoulder, and then you saw it start creeping this way. So I think he was sweeping it. I think he might have been. Granted, arguing over movie magic here, but I think he might have been sweeping it.
When you shoot the engine, it naturally diverts.
TV shows and movies. If you guys have any suggestions for ones we should check out in the future, make sure you leave a comment with them down below. And while you're down there, why don't you check out this message from our sponsor?
Squarespace! Creating your own website doesn't have to be difficult. And luckily with Squarespace it isn't. Their all-in-one platform makes it easy to get your website up and running quickly, and designing with their Fluid Engine site builder is easy.
Yeah, well, it is possible.
Start with a template and customize the details to your heart's desire with intuitive drag-and-drop elements on both desktop and mobile. You can also use their asset library to manage all your files from one central hub
especially
and use
the
them across the
minigun,
entire
a small amount of movement can
Plus,
change the
Squarespace's
trajectory
analytic
of
insights, you can
that
see
thing's
what's working
spitting out,
well
30,000 rounds a minute. So, it's...
And if you need help,
Yeah.
Squarespace has got your
Silver,
back with helpful
you're in very good
guides
company
and a
then.
24/7 support team. They do not sleep. Head to squarespace.com/LTT and get 10% off today.
If you guys enjoyed this video, why not checking out the one where James, my wife, and I watched some, in some cases, pretty scintillating tech ads. It was awkward. It involved a glory hole at one point.
Then. Well, it's... Yeah, they carved... Oh, but the minigun package on that bed does not exist. Administrative results new. And yes, Potato, he did. Yes, he did. It's like reacting to worse anime tech ads. And you know what? If you guys are interested in seeing it, I've got eyeballs on it. We can watch that tomorrow.